What if the person you matched with online wasn't just looking for love, but hiding something much darker?
$30,000. $140,000.
A gripping story gone viral.
From a near abduction with a mysterious van, to a date that turned deadly in New Zealand, and a man who vanished mid-dinner only to reappear in the shadows. These aren't just creepy Tinder stories, they're real-life nightmares.
Call them with what? I thought you lost your phone.
Exactly.
So how are you going to call anyone without your phone?
A local woman is talking about a bizarre encounter with a man who showed up at her door in the middle of the night.
From today, online dating apps will have 6 months to comply with industry safety codes placed to detect potentially harmful incidents.
So buckle up, because what starts as a simple swipe quickly spirals into terrifying encounters you won't believe. Imagine this, you're walking alone at night, heading towards what's supposed to be a casual Tinder hookup. The guy seems normal, your vibes are good, and after a quick phone call, you feel safe enough to meet up. But then, something feels off. Marissa was 23 when she matched with Luke. He was charming, seemed to like the same music and sports, and was looking for exactly what she wanted. No strings attached fun. But here's where it gets creepy. When Luke finally gave her his address, it wasn't until after he found out where she lived, and conveniently, his place was just a few minutes walk away. Coincidence? Not likely. Marissa decided to play it smart. Instead of heading straight inside, she scoped out the house first. What she saw chilled her to the bone. Multiple cars in the driveway, no lights on, and the house didn't feel like a guy living alone. Her gut screamed danger. And then, a white van with no headlights started creeping down the street. Panicked, Marissa ducked behind a nearby house, trying to stay hidden while her mind raced. Why would a van be lurking around this late at night with its lights off? She watched in horror as the van parked just a few houses down from Luke's supposed address. The van just sat there, engine humming, but no one got out. Marissa's phone buzzed, a message from Luke. "Okay, I'm ready. Let me know when you're on my block. I'll come out." That was all she needed to confirm her suspicions. She turned and bolted, running inconspicuously but swiftly, sticking close to houses to avoid being seen. When she finally reached home, she blocked Luke's number, deleted his Tinder profile, and reported him to the app. But the nightmare wasn't over yet. Marissa couldn't shake off the fear, so she told her mom everything. The next day, they both went to the address Luke had given. A woman answered the door and, when asked about her son, looked genuinely confused. "I don't have a son," she said. The realization hit Marissa like a ton of bricks. Whoever Luke was, he had lured her to a random house, probably as part of some elaborate, dangerous setup. They went straight to the police, reporting every detail. The officers took it seriously, noting that her quick thinking might have saved her life. Though no one was ever arrested, the chilling encounter serves as a haunting reminder. Always trust your instincts, because Marissa may have narrowly escaped an abduction, or worse. Now this one isn't just disturbing, it's tragic. Grace Mullane, a bright, adventurous 21-year-old from the UK, was traveling through New Zealand when she decided to go on a Tinder date with a guy named Jesse. She was just looking to meet new people, maybe even spark a connection, but instead she met her killer. Their date seemed picture-perfect at first. CCTV footage shows them laughing, bar hopping, and even sharing a kiss. But what happened after they went back to Jesse's apartment is something no one could have predicted. Grace was never seen alive again. The next day, Jesse was seen buying cleaning supplies and a large suitcase, the same suitcase he later used to dispose of her body. What's even more chilling, just hours after killing Grace, Jesse went on another Tinder date, casually chatting about the best places to hide a dead body. Yeah, let that sink in. Grace's friends and family grew concerned when she didn't respond to birthday messages. She was known for being social and outgoing, so her sudden silence was alarming. When they couldn't reach her on either of her two phones, which she always kept as a backup, they reported her missing. Grace's father flew to New Zealand to aid in the search, desperate for answers. Meanwhile, police were already piecing together Jesse's movements. CCTV showed him leaving his apartment the morning after the date, alone. His suspicious purchases, cleaning products, a shovel, and that large suitcase set off alarm bells. When police brought him in for questioning, Jesse played it cool, claiming Grace had left his apartment fine, but the evidence was mounting. Forensic teams uncovered blood in Jesse's apartment apartment despite his cleaning efforts. GPS data from his phone led investigators to a remote area where they found the suitcase containing Grace's body buried in a shallow grave. Jesse's search history didn't help his case either. He had looked up methods of disposing of bodies and cleaning up crime scenes. At his trial, Jesse's defense claimed Grace's death was accidental, the result of rough sex gone wrong, but the jury wasn't buying it. The calculated steps Jesse took afterward, from cleaning his apartment to disposing of Grace's body, painted a different picture. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison with a minimum non-parole period of 17 years. But the horror didn't stop there. After Jesse's conviction, more women came forward, accusing him of sexual assault. It became clear that Grace's tragic fate wasn't an isolated incident. Jesse was a predator, and Grace had fallen into his trap. Both stories are terrifying reminders that even the most normal-seeming encounters can hide dark, dangerous intentions. They're not just cautionary tales, they're wake-up calls about the risks of online dating. You'll never believe how my perfect Tinder date turned into a nightmare. It all started like any other swipe-right story. Mia, a 26-year-old graphic designer, was scrolling through Tinder on a lazy Sunday evening when she matched with Ethan. His profile was a perfect mix: handsome photos, a witty bio about loving dogs and hiking, and just the right amount of charm in his messages. They hit it off immediately, talking late into the night about everything from their favorite movies to travel dreams. After a week of texting and laughing over inside jokes, Ethan suggested they meet for dinner at a popular new Italian restaurant downtown. Mia felt that familiar flutter of excitement. Finally, a Tinder date that seemed promising. She picked out her favorite dress, told her roommate where she was going, and headed out with high hopes. When Mia arrived, Ethan was already there, sitting at a cozy table by the window. He looked exactly like his photos: tall, dark-haired, with a warm smile that immediately put her at ease. Their conversation flowed effortlessly over pasta and wine. He was attentive, funny, and seemed genuinely interested in everything she had to say. It was, by all accounts, the perfect first date. But then, things took a strange turn. About an hour into dinner, Ethan excused himself to take a phone call. Mia didn't think much of it at first, until 10 minutes passed, then 20. She glanced around the restaurant, wondering if he'd gotten caught up in an emergency. After 30 minutes, she texted him, "Hey, everything okay?" No response. She called. It went straight to voicemail. Confused and a little worried, Mia asked the waiter if he'd seen Ethan. The waiter's response made her blood run cold. "He paid the bill about 15 minutes ago and left." Mia's heart dropped. Why would he leave without saying anything? Trying to shake off the creeping anxiety, Mia gathered her things and stepped outside, scanning the street for any sign of Ethan. That's when she saw him, standing perfectly still across the street, staring directly at her. But there was something wrong about his expression. Gone was the charming smile from dinner. Instead, his face was blank, almost lifeless, like he wasn't really seeing her at all. Mia called out to him, but he didn't respond. He just turned and slowly walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the street. Mia stood there, frozen in confusion and fear. She tried calling him again, but his number was suddenly disconnected. That night, back in her apartment, Mia couldn't shake the eerie feeling. She decided to look him up online, hoping to find some explanation, but when she searched his name, nothing came up. His Tinder profile? Gone. Their entire chat history? Deleted. It was as if Ethan had never existed. Over the next few days, Mia couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She'd catch glimpses of someone who looked like Ethan in the crowd, or see a figure standing across the street from her apartment late at night. But whenever she tried to get a closer look, he'd vanish. Mia went to the police, but with no evidence of a crime, there wasn't much they could do. They suggested she change her number and stay alert. Feeling helpless, Mia followed their advice, beefed up her apartment security, and tried to move on, but the fear lingered. Weeks later, Mia received a package with no return address. Inside was a single photo, a candid shot of her taken from outside her apartment window. Written on the back were 3 chilling words: "Let's try again." Mia moved to a new city the very next day, leaving behind everything she knew. But sometimes, late at night, she still wonders if Ethan is out there, waiting.